So last week I published an Instagram story asking which of these Clos Mont-blanc wines you would like me to try, and it's going to be my first ever post about Cava in 300 posts, which is crazy. Anyway, this one is the winner, Clos Mont-blanc's Cava. Also, if you want to check out the notes below, you'll see that I've also added a review for the Chipella, the Clos Mont-blanc blend of Samso, Cabernet and Syrah, and also the other blend, which is Cab, Carignan, Grenache, I think, for the Origin 2016. Yeah, those notes are in the description. So 3 interesting facts then about this Cava. So this Cava is produced with grapes from Conca de Barbera. That's a very small DO whose grapes mostly go into Cava, about 40 miles north of Tarragona in Catalonia, behind the hills and the plains of Penedès. The other interesting fact, I've said it already, it's interesting probably only to me, but of 300 posts, this is my first Cava post. That's crazy because probably of all the wines in the world, I've drunk more Cava, not professionally, just drunk more Cava than any other wine, simply because, I mean, us Brits, we're crazy about Cava, and any opportunity to, any party, and especially any student party, Cava was definitely the sparkling wine of choice. Sadly, champagne was not on the menu for my days at university anyway. And I used to live in Barcelona as well, and that'd be something that you would drink on Friday. We would finish at 2 o'clock on a Friday and go and drink Cava and sit on the beach, and then on Sundays with Sunday lunch, Cava would be always present, and always at New Year's Eve as well. There'd be Cava and the grapes. Cava is a fabulous kind of party wine, and it's got great memories for me anyway. Third interesting thing about Cava, and this Cava in particular, is that it's made from 2 of the 3 prominent grapes associated with Cava. That's Macabeo and Parellada. The other major grape is Charolais. Cava does allow other grapes in the Cava wine, so you can have like the traditional champagne grapes of Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. You can also include Garnacha, Monastrell, Syrah, and Trepat, which is a speciality of Conca de Barbera as well. So, what to expect from a wine like this? This wine has spent 12 to 18 months in bottle. It's like all Cavas, made with the traditional method. You would expect a Grand Reserva Cava, maybe that had 30 months, to have really strong autolytic characteristics, so maybe bread and brioche and yogurt or pastry. But as this has only had 12 to 18 months aging, I would expect it to be a much fruitier, fresh, primary fruit Cava. So let's pour this out and see how it goes. Actually have a different glass this time. Everybody's always commenting on the fact that I taste with all just the same Riedel every time. So here you go, something else. And you can see this little note there. What was that from? The first official London organic champagne tasting. So it's not a Cava glass. I'm not sure there is such thing as a Cava glass. It's a champagne glass, and I think that's about as good as it's going to get right now with my glassware. So let's have a look at the colour. It's a kind of straw yellow. You can see some green highlights in there as well. Some fine bubbles bubbling away. So on the nose, it's very fresh and lively. It's not particularly intense. It is all about just primary fruit. And there are only really hints of kind of fresh cut apples or pears. I'm not getting any autolytic characteristics really at all. Perhaps a touch of yogurt, fresh yogurt perhaps. Otherwise, no, it's definitely a young Cava. So on the palate, so again, very fresh and lively, very full palate. This feels like a well-made wine. It's a wine for a party. It's a wine for some fun. This, again, there's no autolytic characters really on the palate either. But this is what I mean. That different Cavas are for different things. Grand Reserva Cavas are for one thing. These kind of regular Cavas, standard Cavas are for other things. And I think it makes a great aperitif or a fun party wine. Very, very nice, very well made Cava. This wine is imported by Vessel Wines. You can get this on Amazon, I think, for around £13. And I do have a question. So my question is, of all the wines in the world, even if today you might prefer, I don't know, some wine, Vin Romanée or whatever it might be, which wine, if you take your whole wine drinking life, have you drunk the most of? So mine's Cava. What's yours?